I'm just having some fun here, sharing some of what I do to try to stay fitter and stronger over 60. Now, in the spirit of that fun, today is Quad Day, featuring the universally loved front squat. Well, I'm not going to lie to you, that front squat session was a little bit humbling, and when I was in the midst of it, I was a little bummed out. But after the fact, and in retrospect, it was okay. This is a learning process. I'm going to stick with this front squat, try to make it work, give it a fair chance. So, with that said, let's jump into the gym and see how this front squat session actually turned out. If you've been watching my channel for the last 3 or 4 weeks, you'll know I've been trying to find a viable option for back squats. I've tabled back squats for a bit because they're giving me problematic for me, and I've done a video regarding that very subject that I'll link up here in the corner if you're curious as to why exactly I'm going to table my back squats for a bit. But suffice it to say that I want to find something that is squat-like to replace my back squats. Now, an obvious solution to that would be front squats. And I've done one real session of front squats. It was a couple of weeks ago maybe, and I found them less than pleasurable, very difficult. Of course, they're foreign. It's a foreign movement to me, so there's a lot of adjustment to make those front squats work for me. And one of those adjustments I tried to implement today, which was using straps to try to make this front squat a little more comfortable, to try to keep the barbell on my deltoids. And I tried a couple of warm-up sets with these straps, and this set here, as you see, and they were still problematic for me. I could not keep that bar from rolling off the front of my shoulders. It was uncomfortable, and I had even more difficulty keeping my back vertical, which I need to focus on in particular with my front squat, but that's another discussion I'll talk about in a bit. The upshot is that I am not going to pursue the strap option for front squatting. I'm just going to go back to the conventional front load of the front squat. And there's a couple of options, 3 options I guess that I know of: the regular conventional load, the cross arm option, and the straps. But since I've only done one real session of the conventional approach to front squatting, I guess I didn't give it a fair enough chance. I didn't give my body enough of a chance to adapt and try to make it work. So today's session is, if more than anything else really, is just to see and identify things I need to fix and fix them if possible. And I noticed a few things in particular after watching the footage of this session, and let's go through those one at a time. The first thing, which isn't that big of a deal right this second, is the depth. I can fix the depth of this because the weight I started with today, 135, was certainly doable and light enough to get good depth on. I think my depth problem was me being more concerned with the form and function and the general uncomfortableness of the front squat. So the depth is one thing, but I think that's a lesser of the problems. Another issue is my hand positioning, my elbow, shoulder, wrist flexibility. Keeping my elbows high enough to keep that barbell on my shoulders so that it's comfortable. You'll see my right hand there is way more exaggerated than my left. I'm barely holding on with my fingertips there, and oddly enough, just looking at that, it looks uncomfortable, and believe me, it was uncomfortable. And it didn't feel like I had a secure enough grip on there. That's something else I need to work on. Now, all of that right hand positioning, for example, is probably a function of mobility, flexibility in my shoulders and my elbows, and that's something else I need to work on. How exactly, I'm not sure yet, but I did address that a little bit more in the fourth set you'll see here in a bit. Now this set here is the third set, and I do remember distinctly on this set I was going to focus on another issue that I need to be mindful of, and that's keeping my back when I do the actual squat, the ascent. If I can keep my elbows up and drive my back backwards, and in my mind at least focusing on a more perpendicular or more vertical back torso position, that bar feels way more comfortable and will stay on the shoulder. There'll be less propensity for it to roll off the front, which is obviously a problem. Now, even as I was focusing on my back position here on this set, you see my right hand there, that just looks crazy, and I definitely need to address that. That's not going to work. So for me to continue with front squats, I've got to fix that. Now on my fourth set here, I only did this fourth set just because I want to work on my form. And believe it or not, after that 3 sets, as crazy as they looked, as problematic as they were, I got some quad activation out of those 3 sets of 5 there with just 135 pounds, so that's encouraging. But here my hand position is, on the right side, is a little better. I consciously tried to keep my right hand in a better position so that it wasn't quite such a fingertip grasp there. So that was a little bit of an improvement. And again, I think that is a function of my elbow positioning. My elbow positioning is not high enough, and that is a function of my flexibility, which I'm pretty sure I can work on. So all in all, I think I learned a lot from that. It was a fairly humbling experience, but I want to give front squats a fair chance, so I'm going to continue with those bad boys until I learn them. I'm a little hard-headed, a little stubborn, so I'm going to continue until I actually master this skill of front squatting, because I think they're awesome. Now, this is the second exercise we did today, so we did effectively, let's call it 4 sets. Well, let's call it 3 sets with a little extra one of front squats. So 3 sets of quad work done with front squats. Now I'm going to do 3 sets of quad work with this split squat. Now I've been calling this a Bulgarian split squat, but I guess it's not really, because my back leg is not raised up like on a bench, for example. But I have found, having done these for, I don't know, 5 or 6 sessions now, that if I pre-exhaust my quads, this is a very effective workout, even doing it like this in this lunge position. And then, the range of motion isn't great, but if you keep the tension on it and pre-exhaust the quads and use the right amount of weight, here's a 50-pound dumbbell, I think, this is very effective. Plus, on this session, I was focusing on keeping my back more vertical, and that makes this incrementally more difficult and effective. I don't want to lean forward. I want to keep my back vertical, keep that tension on the quads. So that was nice. That was 3 sets of split squats in the 10 rep range, and they were burners. So that's 6 good sets of quad work. And I'm going to finish up with some hack squats here in lieu of leg presses today. I love leg presses, but I just changed it up a bit today just because I wanted to. Now, one thing I want to mention too, today is leg day, obviously, and normally I would do hamstrings on this day, but it turns out that my hamstrings were sore, a little torqued from a really nice heavy deadlift session the day before yesterday. So I laid off the hamstrings today and focused on quad work. And here we're going to do 3 sets of 10 reps or so on this linear hack squat machine. I love it. This is a great machine. And one other point too is I'm wearing my squat shoes, obviously for the squats, but also for the split squats and this hack squat. I got a recommendation from one of you wonderful viewers, Quentin, you know who you are, to wear my squat shoes when doing split squats, Romanian split squats, leg presses, hack squats, because the wedge on a lifting shoe just gives you a better mechanical advantage. Put your knees in a better position, just feels better. So, and it works. I felt it. It was nice. So, again, 3 sets here, which is going to bring us to a total of 9 good sets of quad work today. And that's a lower volume than I normally do on my leg day, on my quads, for my quads in particular. But wasn't feeling the best today, so that's part of it. But the other thing is, to emphasize this, is that those front squats activated my quads way more than I anticipated. So by this point, that 9 sets of quad work was pretty much all I could do, and probably was all I needed. So I'm happy with that. Lower volume quad day, no hamstrings, fighting with the front squat, learn some lessons, learn some things in the front squat that I need to address, and I'm fully confident I'll be able to do that. And I may implement back squats later on if I get my equilibrium issue resolved, but for now I think the front squat's a viable option for a squat-like movement on quad day or on leg day. That was a good one, and I surely appreciate you taking time to hang out with us today. Thank you. All right, there you go. There is more to follow on this front squat adventure. I am 100% certain that I will master and learn this front squat, because I think it's an awesome movement. And as I said in the video, I got some unexpected quad activation with that, and I want to stick with it. And the rest of the workout was okay too. The split squats and the hack squats, very low volume, 9 sets, but still it was a good workout. I'm happy with it. And I'd like to take this chance before I forget to say thank you very much for being here and hanging out with us today. I always appreciate that. I sure do. And again, and as always, if you would, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this with your friends. And if you're this far into the video, why don't you just go ahead and reach down and click the subscribe button. Like I said, it doesn't cost anything. It's free. We'd love to have you. That would be awesome. And with that, I'll say, till next time, go get 'em. Mark out.